All right, with Katie Newton here. Katie, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of let everyone at home know about yourself.
Well, my name's Katie Newton. I just graduated from Aloha High School, so class of 2013. I play softball, soccer, and basketball. So, yeah, I don't know. With my free time, I like to volunteer a lot, and I spend a lot of time with my family and friends.
So what kind of volunteering do you do?
Well, I was my senior vice president at my school this last year, and so I did a lot of work with Sparrow Clubs USA. And what that is, that helps ill children, and the school kind of like adopts them. And then we get together, and then the whole school raises money for them by volunteering, doing other events. And this year we had our Sparrow baby Olivia, and we ended up raising over $18,500 for her.
Wow.
Which is really amazing, and it's the most our school has ever raised before in years past. And it was really touching to be a part of that and to help leading our school.
Yeah, congratulations on that. That's
you.
Awesome. And it's great, these young athletes like yourself, and to be able to you excel in the sports world, but to make contributions off of the field, and to excel at those kind of things, that's just it's a really great thing.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so let's get down to some sports here. Okay, so you started out this year soccer. You played a forward, correct?
Yes, and wing.
Forward and wing, okay.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about your soccer season and kind of what your expectations were for soccer this year.
Well, soccer at the beginning of the year, we conditioned a lot more than we have in years past. And that part, I mean, conditioning can go both ways. Like, you hate doing it, but then you love yourself afterwards because you feel amazing. But the doing it part was just horrible. But we had this year, compared to all the other years in past, we had the greatest team chemistry that we've ever had before. So, like, getting to know the girls, going to practices was really fun. Having games, like, we weren't the best team out there, but we were definitely having the most fun, and we were definitely pushing way harder than the other teams. So that was really great.
So when you talk about your off season and that doing extra conditioning, was that something your coach really pushed, or was that something that kind of the seniors knew that, hey, we got to do a little something extra this year?
Well, I think that was more of it was more in season that we did like more practices, like extra work during practices. But it was definitely something that our coach and like the upperclassmen definitely wanted to push, because for us, like, we weren't going to be the most talented team on the field, but we were definitely going to be the hardest working. So because of that, we evened it out with our extra conditioning.
So what do you think as a senior and probably a leader on that team? What do you kind of what kind of legacy do you think that leaves for those younger players that you're willing to do the extra work to be better?
Well, for our Aloha soccer program, I definitely see it going nowhere but up. This year we did pull through with our first Metro League win, which has been a while. We beat Beaverton. I think it was 1-0 at home, and that was really fun. And the younger girls this year who are going to be seniors, and all the other girls, and even the girls from like the lower teams, they care so much, and they have so much drive, and that's really going to push them to be really successful, not only in soccer but in their lives as well.
So how do you when you don't have the success on the field in the wins and losses, how do you take the little victories inside of a game and make that better, or kind of highlight those to the other players?
Well, this is a hard one. I don't know. It's just basically on how you look at it, because if you look on the overall picture, like, yeah, we may have lost, but like in the end, like, did we really improve? Because I know this year we've definitely improved way more than everything else. And I think not having all the bickering and with our team being so much closer this year, that really made it a lot better.
Good. Okay, so you went through the soccer year, and then you're into basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And why don't you talk a little bit about your basketball season this year?
Well, with this basketball season, we had a new, not a head coach, but an assistant coach. And kind of just like soccer, we've done 10 times more of the running than we did during practices. Like, it was kind of like the same story for both like sports. Like, we weren't always the most talented, but we were way more conditioned. We did so much running. Like, it was like, Heather, like, we don't need to run more, but we do at the same time. But yes, basketball was definitely really fun. On the core varsity team, we only had 9 players, so there was only 9 of us. So the whole team ended up getting very, very close. We did a lot of stuff together, not only like for basketballs and like team events, but like we'd all hang out like outside of school and outside of basketball, and the 9 of us would just end up getting together. And yeah, like, it was really fun. And yeah, I don't know.
Do you have were a lot of those soccer players, were those the same ones that were playing basketball? So was there kind of like that relationship already there, or is it like a new group that you had to kind of form a relationship with?
There was only one of the girls who played both sports, Hannah Lang. She was there with me. She was a sophomore this year. And so, like, from my perspective, like our age gaps that we have like between the teams, like they're pretty much non-existent when you come into it. Like the seniors, like we were all really accepting of the freshmen, well, for soccer, and then I was the only senior for basketball. So, but like there was basically no age gap in my mind. Like we were all really good friends no matter what age we were.
So, only having 9 players, I'm guessing you didn't get a lot of time on the bench.
Oh no, no one did. I wouldn't say there was one player who was completely like unsweaty after the games.
Yeah. So do you think that your conditioning, that extra you did during soccer season, did that help you for basketball?
Oh, totally. I mean, you could tell at the beginning of the season when there's those girls who haven't really been doing as much work at the in the off season as the others, and then definitely coming from like soccer to basketball was way better than a lot of the others. Yeah.
Okay, and then so before we get to your last sport, there was an award that was just given to you. Mm-hmm. Why don't you kind of explain what that was and kind of the decision making on why they decided to give that to you?
Well, when they first told me that they were choosing me for the award, I was really like shocked and confused. Cause I mean, not so much confused. It was just like me, like out of everyone, like for like basketball and soccer, I'm not always like the most talented girl out there, but I definitely try really hard. But for softball, it's kind of like not the opposite, but like I'm one of the more talented girls out there on the field. And so to win the award, it was kind of like recognition, like all the hard work I've been doing for the past 4 years for Low High School, for everything was like being recognized, and it was really great to see that happen.
So did they kind of give you the criteria of what they're looking for or anything like that?
For the award?
Yeah.
Not so much. I mean, when I had my interview with Miles Vance, when he wrote the article about me in the paper, he just said that me and that other boy who won it for the male athlete of the year, that he was a 3-sport athlete as well. So I believe like the only criteria that I really knew about was 3-sport athlete, and then yeah, that was it.
Well, and I'm sure like those when you talk about the volunteering and being the vice president
Mm-hmm.
and those kind of things, and all of those things kind of add up for those kind of things. So I'm sure that there's an overall. It wasn't just like an athletic award.
Oh yeah.
It was all the impact that you make for the community. So how does that make you feel when you hear something like that? And you talked about being really surprised about it, but how do you think that maybe that's changed your impression of like how you affected the community?
Well, it's like, because we do a lot of work for leadership that's all about involving the community for everything else. Like we do a program called Holiday Sharing where we sponsor 20 like Aloha families, and we just give them like all the stuff during Christmas time. Like we give them a month's worth of food, we give them like their Christmas needs and some of what they want, like for all their family and kids and everything. And it's just community involvement and being recognized within the community. Like that people in the community like realize that you're doing stuff, but when you're actually given an award for it, it just means that much more, that people are like actually realizing that you're helping out.
And how do you feel about being a 3-sport athlete? You have teammates, being in a leadership in those classes. You have classmates. How much do you have to rely on other people to kind of do the things that you want to do?
Oh, totally. In those classes, we have to rely on each other all the time, because we'll be in like small committees working on everything. So you're not actually working on the full picture. You're working on a piece of the full picture. So you just have to rely on the other people to make sure, like, you have to trust them to be doing their job, because if you don't trust them, then you're just going to be running all over the place trying to do everything at once, and that never ends up working out.
So how does that translate to on the sports field for you?
Oh, totally. Because it's like, when you're running up the field, like you're sprinting for a ball and you're ready to like cross it in or like give a pass, you're expecting the rest of your teammates to be hustling down the field and being there as well. And when like you turn around and you're not there, which they aren't, you're just really confused. Like, I just worked this hard. I just sprinted all the way down the field. Like, why can't any of you guys do the same? So it's that doesn't happen, but I mean, like, theoretically. But yeah, it's totally relatable.
Yeah. So you talk about there is like accountability. Do you feel like a sense of accountability to make sure that you're giving your best every time?
Of course. I mean, the coaches expect so much from you. Like, you expect so much from yourself. Your parents expect so much for yourself. The people who are there watching expect so much. So I just feel like no one who's on the sports team or anyone else really wants to let anyone down, including themselves. So yeah. I
like that. You got a little sassy attitude with me. Like, of course I got to give my best every time. All right, so I think we got a video that we're going to run here. I'm going to ask you one more question, then we're going to run that video. So we're getting ready for softball season, and softball is kind of your sport. So kind of what are your expectations going into the softball season?
Softball season this year was kind of like hit and miss because we were expected to do really well, but we ended up not. But I still had a really great season. Like the team had a great season. We got together. Like I feel this year, out of all the 4 years at high school, that all the teams that I was on, we were the closest that we ever were. Like the girls were all together as a family and everything else. So the senior year sports-wise, like, was definitely one of the more enjoyable ones just because everyone was so close. And in the season-wise, we expected a lot and we didn't end up getting it, but it was okay in the end because I know that everyone tried their hardest and we all pushed ourselves really hard during practices and during the games.
All right, so we have that video ready, so we're going to watch that video and I'm going to come back and ask you a few more questions.
All right.
Let's go ahead and roll that video. Okay, it looks like we're not able to get that video up right now. So you have your softball season, and we're talking about that, and it looks like we have that video ready to go. So let's go ahead and roll that video. All right, so we're looks like we're looking at. Is that you up at bat there?
Yes, that's me, and I play for the team called Washington Hustle, and we're basically a club ASA team. And this was in our tournament at this last week. We were in Denver, Colorado, and this is one of the hits that I had during the tournament.
So what are your thoughts when the pitcher's pitching right now?
Well, when the ball comes in and you're just like looking at everything, you're watching the spins on pitches, you're watching when the release point is, you're watching all these different things, and you just really need to be paying attention at all times.
So, obviously softball different than baseball with the fact that it comes in underhand. You guys are closer.
Yeah.
You guys are at 45 feet?
46.
46, okay.
Yeah.
So, they say it's softball when you're playing softball, it's like a 90-mile-an-hour fastball because your reaction time is so quick because of how close you are. So how do you make that decision in like that split second that, hey, I'm gonna swing at this or I'm not going to?
Well, I think it's because all the girls who've been playing softball, they've been playing it since they were little. And so when like their dads were throwing it to them when they were like 5 years old, it's like this little lob pitch. And like the older you get, the faster the pitcher gets. So you kind of like grow up with the speed like increasing with your increasing age. And so I feel like if anyone was to just pick up softball now and get in there and just try and hit like a 67 mile per hour fastball, it just wouldn't happen. Like, I don't even know, like, when you're in the batter's box, like, I don't even know how we do it sometimes. Like, it's just incredible that we were able to identify a pitch, see where it is, and, like, use the correct swing. It blows my mind sometimes.
Yeah, so, I've gone down to, like, some of these places that have, like, the softball pitching machines and stuff like that, and I'm horrible at it. I played baseball growing up, and that ball just comes, it's so much quicker, and the bat is the distribution on the bat because the bats are about the same size, but the barrel's the same length all the way out, whereas baseball, it gets bigger the whole way.
Yeah.
So it's a different swing, isn't it, than maybe it is for baseball?
It's kind of the same swing, but the ball for softball is much bigger than the guys, but then their barrel of the bats are much bigger, and then our barrel is like the size kind of like a baseball, and theirs is like kind of a softball, so it kind of like balances out. But the guys' bats, they're much more heavy compared to the girls. So I don't really know how much a baseball bat weighs, but a girl's, like, if it was 32, if it's inches or centimeters, I don't really know, it'd be like 22 ounces. So it's like there's always like a 10 drop. Yeah. That's a standard softball bat, and I don't know, but it's much more heavy for the guys.
Yeah, I think it's like 32.
Yeah.
I think it's about the same length and width. So, talking about softball, so, softball's kind of your sport. So kind of, you didn't maybe have the season that you guys wanted to have in softball, but, you guys were out there having fun. You guys did accomplish a lot of stuff as far as the, things that you wanted to do. So, kind of where are you going next? You've graduated from high school. What's your next step?
Well, as of right now, my plan is to go to Iona College, which is on the East Coast, and I'm going to be playing softball there. It's a private Division I college up on the East Coast, and it's in New York, so that shall be fun.
New York, that's a
Yeah.
big city.
Oh, I know.
Coming from Hillsborough area, Portland, out there,
Yeah,
Beaverton.
totally small.
Yeah.
And I've never been to New York either. I'm going on my official visit in like a week and a half or 2 weeks or something like that. So yeah, it'll be a big difference, but I'm ready to take it on.
Okay, first thing you do when you get to New York, what is it?
Explore the city. I don't know. Our coach is taking us on a tour of New York and everything, and then the campus as well, which is in New Rochelle. But yeah, it'll be exciting. It'll be an adventure.
All right, well, good luck to you, Katie.
Thank you.
All right, do you have anything else you want to say to any teammates or any coaches, parents?
I don't know. I just want to thank my parents for bringing me along for all this. It's been really fun. I definitely would not be anywhere near here without them.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.